Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to my series on how I stay safe when I'm camping, hiking in the woods, backpacking, or even being in the city going about my daily tasks and so forth. The first thing that we want to do, probably the most important thing, is cultivate this kind of lifestyle of having good situational awareness. And what I mean by that is being aware of the environment that's around us. Now, if I'm out camping, in Michigan, we don't have the luxury of having our choice of any campsite at a particular campground. Campgrounds get very full here in Michigan, so you have to make a reservation, and you don't have the luxury of choosing who's going to camp on either side of you or across the road or behind you. I'm always kind of aware of what's going on around me, who the people are next to me. I don't stare at people, but I do kind of watch them, and I do try to get a sense of if they're average people, safe people, or they might be troublemakers or dangerous in any way. Then there's nothing we can do. We could always pack up our gear and go home, but we probably wouldn't want to pack up our camp and even move to another camp if we didn't have to. The other thing I do when I'm camping is I never have my back to the entrance to my campsite. Like if I'm cooking dinner, preparing dinner, sitting at a campfire, I always am facing the direction where people might enter my campsite from. But of course, you're out in the woods, anybody can enter your campsite from any direction. So you do have to be aware of your environment. Sometimes I don't just sit around the campfire, I stand around the campfire so I can kind of move around and just kind of watch the environment around me. That's having good situational awareness. Situational awareness is being aware of the environment around you, being aware of who's around you, people like that, and so forth. Now, you may think that situational awareness and the practice of situational awareness might be something new to you, but if you operate a motor vehicle, you're already practicing situational awareness, because anytime that you drive, most of us anyway, when we drive, we are aware of what's in front of us. If you're driving, especially on the freeway, you're always looking beyond the traffic right in front of you, way down the road, to see if cars are putting on their brake lights. We're always checking our side view mirrors. We check the rear view mirror. So we do practice situational awareness when you're driving. One thing I do is I keep an eye on cars that are coming up next to me, particularly when I'm stopped at a light. I try to look through the windshield of the car approaching me along the side and get an idea of who's in the car. And I'll glance over if I have to as well. I don't want to stare at anybody again, but I do want to know who's next to me, who's behind me, who's in front of me. So, good situational awareness, driving your motor vehicle. Now, another place we can practice situational awareness is when we go into some type of store. I'm getting ready to go into Lowe's to pick up some building supplies, but this also applies to going into any grocery store, any type of store, going into a restaurant, even walking at the mall, going into a store like I'm going into right now, especially if you're going in at night. And you want to be aware of people around you, people that are walking in the same time you're walking in. And also you want to be aware of people that are walking toward you. And you want to kind of get a vibe or a feel from those people. When you go into any store, wherever it is, you can practice situational awareness by, again, being aware of the environment. If you're in a mall, like in the wintertime, I often walk at a mall, and I always, as I'm walking past the different stores, I'm always looking into them to see where the exits are. So you always want to be aware of where your exits are, where your routes of egress or your escape routes, if you need to do that, might be at. So this is another way you can practice situational awareness. And it is kind of fun. It doesn't have to be something to take so seriously. It's just kind of fun to be more aware, not to be so focused on one thing like staring at our phones, or just to be daydreaming while we're moving about our day, whether you're in the forest, in a campground, or in the city shopping. And here, my friends, is one of the most dangerous places you can be, the gas station. So oftentimes we stare at the pump and we're not aware of our environment. So don't just stare at the pump and painfully watch the numbers click by. Make sure you're looking around, seeing who's pulled up next to you, who's around you in your environment. This is one of the most dangerous places. There's more carjackings, kidnappings, and robberies at gas stations in these types of transitional spaces. So be careful when you're pumping gas. Now, in broad daylight, it's a different thing, but we still want to be aware there are carjackings that happen in broad daylight. So again, good situational awareness. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video on cultivating this habit of being aware of your environment, situational awareness. It is so important for our personal safety, for our family safety, and so forth. So listen, the reality is that this doesn't have to be a difficult thing. You can just experiment with it. Just try to make it a habit that you always do. Try to stay off your phone when you're in grocery stores, at restaurants, walking down the street, walking down a hiking trail, jogging. There's nothing that interesting on your phone that is more important than your safety. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, X, all these different social media platforms, sending emails, checking your messages. It's not as important. So just practice cultivating this attitude, this habit of situational awareness, and you'll be much safer, my friends. Thank you for joining. Now, next up in the next video, in the final video of this series, I'm going to be talking about what really we all want to see, the implements of self-protection. So it'll likely be a longer video. I'll be talking about what I carry with me every day in my pockets, what I carry with me in my car when I'm about the city, what I carry with me when I'm walking or hiking, and of course, most importantly, what I have with me in our camp or in my tent when we're out camping. So I hope you join me for that. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. It would really help me out. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.